We first came to Sierra Leone in 2014 and they were just recovering from the civil war. Taninahan was where we put the first 3 wells. We were told that was where the greatest need was. It was just incredible, the joy that fresh, clean water brings, because this village had no working water pumps. So that was a village of about 800-900 people. What was really fantastic about the first trip was the people that we met, and several of those people are still working with us 8 years later, particularly Stephen Mansaray, and he now heads up our partner organisation, PAD-SL.
One of the things I love to do is to make sure that my people have good drinking water. There was a lot of cholera, dysentery, and all of these things were killing children and even elderly people. If there is no water, you will see the crisis. It will be very high, like some part in Pujahun district here. Sometime in the dry season, you will see people crying over radio for water. Recently, there was a cholera outbreak in one of the sections very close to us, just because they don't have good drinking water. They get water from river, swamp, and all those water are contaminated water.
Very often it's the small children who should be in school that it falls to them to bring the water home. So they spend their time going backwards and forwards to the river. Then the family can get sick, and obviously that compounds the problem on education, on general health, on pregnancy. The whole well-being of the family quite literally can fall apart. So having a deep well pump in the village that's relatively close to their home, it's a life changer, quite simply.
The really key thing is to actually make sure that you can maintain anything that you put in. There's a lot of boreholes in Africa, and so we soon realised that we could take a different approach to make sure that we use the funds that we have as effectively as possible. So we now dig some wells, we have adopted many wells to keep the maximum amount of people in clean, safe water.
Pumps put in 15 or 20 years ago and then left to survive or not survive, most of them now need urgent repair. We've made ourselves responsible for about 140 wells in 55 odd villages, serving between 35 and 40,000 people. The core of our effort out there in repairing the pumps is a team of 2, Abdul Sise and Chief Safa. They're fantastic guys, we couldn't do without them.
I'm Abdul. I'm in charge of water in Rory's well. I dug new wells, I make new wells, then I maintenance the old ones. Here is Jalwan. It's a big community. It's over 1,000 people in this community. We have to dig another new well for them. We are up to 11 to 12 meters right now. So if we finish that well, it's up to 6 hand pumps in this town right now.
We try and do one pump for about 250 people. And we also started to realise we have to give ownership to the village. So we have a well committee and we make sure they know who to go to for maintenance. And we've just started a new initiative, because we never stand still, that we can only expand if we can keep more maintenance going.
Rory's well is committed to a more sustainable and ongoing system. We have started to train villagers in how to do the basic repairs, starting with a better preventative maintenance, simply oiling and greasing chains and bearings, but also repairing the seals and the bearings. We will continue to supply those spares at cost, but they can save us the labour and get involved in their own pump maintenance, which gives them a stake in the whole thing. As time goes on, we can proliferate this training and gradually work them up to be a self-sustaining cohort.
All work together, like the way we train them. Like if any problem in Maka, the one in Maka will try. If he's lost his idea, so we invite his colleague.
In general, the wells that we have dug all have a pump that is imported from India. The spares are relatively plentiful and relatively cheap. Pumps that were put in, as I say, 15 or 20 years ago by other charities are a German pump. They're very expensive. The spares are expensive too. Part of the solution to that problem is that we've teamed up with partners, with Arcadia Reach, the creative engineers who have put together the spider at Glastonbury, and they're able to use their skills to replicate some of the parts at a fraction of the cost that we would have to pay on the open market, which is fantastic. Arcadia have also worked with us on pioneering a solar pump installed to Ninahan. That pumps up to a gravity-fed header tank. It's virtually maintenance-free, or has proved to be over the last 3 years. We can use gravity to get the water out to different areas of the village. So, in theory, householders can have it on tap. We now want to roll out that program to other villages that have populations of over 1,000 people. One of the great strengths of Rory's Well is that all the program managers, we all go out on an annual basis to Sierra Leone and we pay our own expenses so that all the donations made by our fantastic donors can go into the actual programs. But we're constantly having to look for funds.
Because of the strong relationship between PAD SL and Rory's Well, anytime we give a report from this community, they react on that report as quickly as possible because of trust and honesty that is between the two organizations.
It's not called Rory's Well for nothing. Water really is the core of our activity. It is core to their health that they have clean water.
Water is life. Now, there is no cholera in our community or dysentery. You go right across Barry Chiefdom, every community, people are very healthy and they have food to eat and they are happy.